All right, let's see. The camera is here, kind of blocks off my setup though. It's there now. Okay. I think we're ready now. So, good morning to everyone. My name is Tim. I go by FoamyGuy on GitHub and Discord, as well as Twitch, although on Twitch, somebody beat me to it, so I'm FoamyGuy_Twitch. We are working on CircuitPython stuff this morning. We're pretty much picking up right where I left off last night on the deep dive, working on some what I'm probably going to end up trying to call multicolored versions of some of the LED animations in the LED animations library. I have been using them with gradients because I was working on a gradient helper library that generates the palettes of gradient colors for you. But realistically, what we're making is generic enough you could do it with just any list of colors, right? The key thing is that you're using multiple colors rather than a single color, which is how the animations were originally created. So that's what I'm working on. It is daytime now. Sun's coming in the windows. It's much brighter in here. The LEDs look a lot more washed out, and there's a lot less I can do about it, I believe. I'll try to turn on the overhead light. I think that's going to make it worse, but, well, maybe a little better. You can actually see some of the colors a bit better. So we'll leave that on for now. So that is what I'm working on. If you are brand new to all of this, though, or if you're catching this in the future or something and you are lost, if you don't really have any idea what I'm talking about, we are working with a project called CircuitPython. This is a version of Python that runs on these tiny computers called microcontrollers. In my case, this one over here on this little board, I don't want to move it too far because the wires for this one are kind of delicate the way they're connected, but this device here is basically a tiny computer. We're writing some Python code. It's running on that device, and it's, in this case, controlling these Neopixels, which are in this heart-shaped mold here. Right now it's static because I stopped the program running if I let the program run, then it will just kind of bounce these lights around the shape, or really back and forth across the strip, as the case actually is. Excuse me. So that's kind of the high level look at the project. What it is, what it's all about, is writing this Python code to interact with these hardware peripherals using these tiny microcontroller computer devices. It's an open source project. All the development takes place out in the open on GitHub and Discord, so join us in those places if you're interested in getting involved in development. We love to have new folks getting involved. So we're always happy to help folks out. So if you think you might be interested in that, but you don't know what to do, or you don't think you know enough about it, or anything like that, you don't know about Git or any of that kind of stuff, we're more than willing to help folks get on board and start helping out. So if that's something you're interested in, you reach out on the Discord's probably the easiest place to do that immediately, or GitHub, of course. Just jump into the PRs and issues if you want to go that route. It's an open source project, but it is primarily funded by Adafruit. This is their website, adafruit.com. They're a hardware and software company based out of New York. So they produce microcontroller boards, such as this device that we have here is a Adafruit microcontroller, Adafruit manufactured device, manufactured in New York. This one is a Feather M4. They make all sorts of other microcontrollers. They also make all sorts of the stuff that you can connect up and do with the microcontrollers, sensors, buttons, beepers, buzzers, lights, levers, knobs, all these kinds of things. They either manufacture or sell. In this case, this Neopixel strip is also an Adafruit product that I got from them. So all kinds of fun stuff they sell. And like I said, they are paying the folks who work on the project, the open source project, CircuitPython. So thank you to them. And thank you to everybody who wants to purchase hardware from them to help support that project, help support that cause of, buying stuff from them so that they can continue paying us, all the folks who work on the project. So, the very, very, very first thing I'm going to do today is, yesterday we used MapRange for something, for basically, I'll say converting to, I don't know if that's the right term exactly, but converting from the number of colors we have in our list of colors to the number of LEDs we have in our comet's tail, essentially. So, if we have 10 colors, but our comet has 20 neopixels in the tail, then, 2 neopixels would be each color or whatever, right? Like, it needs, some part of the code needs to figure out like how many neopixels to color which colors based on how many colors there are and how many pixels there are. This is that part of the code. Right now it's using this MapRange, which comes from Simple.io. What I have discovered... Ooh, and closed? Did I close that tab? No. Okay, yeah, back here is this tab. Let me put this one in here. Put this one in here. What I have discovered, though, with the help of Stack Overflow, shout out to Stack Overflow, is that there's a thing called NumpyInterp, and it does pretty much the same thing as Simple.io MapRange, or at least it can do the same thing. From reading the docs here, and so of course in CircuitPython we don't have NumPy, but what we have is microlab. ULab is how it's written in ASCII, but it's the micro character, so microlab is actually the name there. What we have is microlab, which has a subset of NumPy and a subset of SciPy, and it turns out, indeed, we have ulab.numpy.interp, which is the exact function that this one was talking about. And this was to a question about how to map one range to another range, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So we have this. I got to here and I read this stuff. It's got these inputs. To be truthfully honest, I don't really understand the way that it's worded here, but it turns out that this does the same thing as MapRange. It's not called in max or in min, in max, out min, out max. It's not called those anymore. It's x is the number, although it can take an array, so it can operate on multiples at a time, I guess, maybe. XP is the x coordinates of data points must be increasing. FP is the Y coordinates, same length as XP. Left and right, which I don't think I used. This says it returns a one-dimensional piecewise linear interpolant to a function with a given discrete data points. Yeah, this stuff. What it does in practice, though, is the same thing as MapRange if you give it the same type of inputs. So I have it back here in my REPL. I gave it 256 for my number. I gave it 1 and 512 for my in, minimum, and maximum. I gave it 5 and 10 for my out, minimum, and maximum. And it spit out 7.4951, which I assume is correct. I chose these numbers because these are the numbers on this page somewhere down here. So I was able to check and see if I got something close to this, and we did. It's rounded a bit differently. We have 511, and then we stop there. But of course, CircuitPython doesn't store as big of floats as CPython, so that is likely to be expected. And it certainly should be close enough for our uses. So with this knowledge, we can actually cut simple IO. We don't need that. That's a library that we can reduce the dependency on, and instead use the NumPy linear interp. Let me check the help channel. Ping in the help channel, maybe ping of helpers, or nope, Foamy Guy. Just wondering if there's a live stream where Foamy Guy wrote the gradient helpers. I could just look over the library, but I do like hearing the thought process. Josh, you are in luck. I don't know if Josh is I don't know if Josh is watching right now. Josh, if you're watching right now, welcome, and thanks for being interested, first of all. Let's get that real quick. Is there a reason I shouldn't do this over here? We should do this over here. I don't know what all these pages show. Tempting display gradient helper? Sorry, I can't. The camera boom arm that I use for this top-down camera is like all in my face. I think this is the one. So we started out looking at Seagrovers. Nice. They just watched the deep dive. And then I think we did the last one on the next day. Some PRs. Okay. Embeds, the embeds. How's it going, C. Grover? Rather than iterating through the values, are you consider putting them into NumPy? No, I had not considered that. Although I think that's probably, it's not that I don't think I knew that was possible, basically. I don't know if that is possible. Mostly I was just replacing the exact same functionality that MapRange has using NumpyInterp. I was looking at the docs and understanding these are taking arrays, and so maybe they can take more than 2 points. So maybe there are, it seems like it could probably act on more than one at a time, whereas MapRange is more like acting on one at a time. But I'm not sure, I guess, how would we do that? We would just not loop, I suppose. That may be possible. I do not know for sure, but it is not a thing that I had considered, and I don't necessarily know the exact right way to do it. If that is possible, though, and it cuts out this loop, that's definitely... Well, we can't cut out the loop all the way, can we? Because we need to do this. Do we need to do this? Comic colors? Yeah, we probably need to do this. Tail colors? But then maybe if we had slices, we could get away without the for loop. I don't know. For now, I will just replace it inside this loop, but that might be a good efficiency boost as well to try to figure out. But firstly, the way I'll do it is this. We'll go... Don't really need all of it. Can we do it? We can't do it that way? Or we can, but... We can, but our stubs don't know about it, maybe? I should probably let's keep that for now, just in case I mess this up. So number in is first, and then in min, in max. This is now going to be a list instead of 2 arguments. Same thing for the out. In out max is now a list instead of 2 arguments. I think everything else works the same, though. Theoretically, this should... Same. Can't convert indi array to int. Oh, right. Interp, it returns a list. Well, it returns an indi array. We need to get the first thing out of it, which is where our answer is at. If we look back at the REPL, I found that as well. Here I did answer equals this, and then answer 0 is where the actual number is at. the object itself, this thing, the answer that it gives you back, the return, will go interp 0. There we go. Okay, and get rid of that. That is working fine. So this is nice because you don't have to install the Simple IO library. Although, are there devices where you would not have access to ULab, where maybe you could still use Simple IO? Maybe it's worth trying to fall back. I don't know. Good morning, DJ Devin. Let's see here. So the other thing is I want to start refactoring this a bit. I think gradient comment should actually be called multi-color comment. Whoa. Do we have a capital C or no? Multicolor, one word? I think it is, right? Because multi is not a word by itself. Yeah, let's do it that way. Multicolor comment. And then I think actually we just should be doing this, colors, right? This will be a list of colors. We won't take tail colors. Instead, we'll just have colors as a list. Because in the one of this that I made last night hastily, essentially we kept accepting color but just ignored it. Or we saved in a variable but then ignored it. So like, pretty much ignored it. And then we passed in the list as the other one. I was trying to keep it like backwards compatible essentially to not break anything. The truth is though, I think it's okay for it to be a different one, right? It can have a slightly different constructor arguments because it's a different thing. It's supposed to take multicolors. So I think that's best. We might want to like override comment. It makes sense probably to override comment, would it? Because theoretically then we could just get rid of everything except set color. I think. Let's try that too. And in fact, let me do that before I start changing all of these things. That way we can actually see if it's working. It's not working? Or I left it in REPL? Nope, not working. Cannot import, right, I did rename it to multi. Fix that part. Oh, interesting. Oh, because I didn't, if I would have done a refactor rename, that would have gotten fixed also, but I didn't, so. Should it work now, though? Gradient comment? Oh, right. Same thing again, actually, if I would have done it that way. That's all right. I think this is actually the last one. We'll see, though. After 22 versions, finally got a step switch cap. 3D print to work right the first time. Minor victory. Feel like I've been living in Fusion 360 and Cura for the past couple of days. Yeah, it sounds like it. 22 iterations. All right, let's see. All right, so now we're running good. So let me now go back into here and try overwriting comment. This is probably comment from comment, rid of this, and then we're basically gonna keep the constructor and the set color. Just get rid of everything else because it's all the same code that's in comment. Fact, we need the we'll need the constructor because ultimately we're gonna have different arguments. So yeah, we do need the constructor. Yeah. Our super might be messed up here though. Super might be messed up here. Can we go super or something like that? Does that make any sense? Well, let's run it. I assume it probably doesn't work. Okay. What's wrong? It's to work fine. As far as I can tell. Okay. Bit weird. Because wouldn't this be calling comment constructor? Comment constructor is not this stuff. Constructor has these things. Which, I guess, do start the same. Nope, not name, though. Name, well, it has name. Okay, they do, it does start the same. Pixel object, speed, color, and then name is a kwarg. Pixel object, speed, color, name. Okay. We'll have to change color at some point. We get rid of color as a single one here. That's fine. Honestly, we could just pass it. It doesn't matter what color we pass it, because it's going to get ignored. Since set color, we're going to use our own. One of those neat things about Fusion 360 is that it automatically increments your file saves as new versions. Imagine if PyCharm did that, how many iterations of Control-S you'd have per project. Both a neat feature. I'm also just like, I don't really know how inefficient I am, thanks. I don't really want to know how inefficient I am. I don't know, it's not inefficient. Small changes are good though, right? Small changes are, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think of small changes as inefficient. I mean, if you print each one, there's something to be said for like trying to be more efficient with plastic, but at the end of the day, like, you don't know how it's going to turn out until you print it. So you can theorize and make changes in the CAD much as you want, but the truth is you can never really iterate on a 3D print or a 3D design until you print it. Kind of have to print it and measure it and fit it and try it with the stuff it goes with, and till then you don't really know. So let's change that to colors. Let's get rid of tail colors. Computed color, I don't think we'll need. Comment it out. Color step, I don't think we'll need. Tail colors, we're not gonna have anymore, but instead we'll just have colors. Colors. Color here, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter, I don't think, what we pass here, so I'll just pass black, I guess. I don't know what name does. What's name do with the animations? Kind of interesting. We don't we don't pass a name, I don't think. What name does? Maybe you can like activate by name or something. Maybe you can set up multiple animations and then run each one based on its name somehow. Okay, so we'll do this bit differently. We're not gonna check for tail colors. Are we? No. Yeah, we're not gonna check for colors. Basically, we're not gonna have this one. This one, if you want to get this one, you should use regular Comet, not multicolor Comet. So we're just gonna get rid of that. And truthfully, I think if colors is none, or length colors less than 2, raise value error, colors must be a colors must what's the right way to word this? Must pass at least 2 colors. So then we don't need to check here, because if it didn't get passed in, or if there wasn't enough, then this would raise before we ever got into here. So now we loop tail length, we get color index. We don't have tail colors anymore. This is now colors. We don't have tail colors anymore. Now colors, feel like I just said that. Comment colors. Got a pen, that should be fine. We probably don't need to be printing. We don't need to be printing. Unexpected. Oh, right. So now I need to fix my actual... I like the other way around, actually. Passing color here, but we shouldn't be, and then we actually passing tail colors, which should be now colors. It's actually not a quark, technically. Maybe we shouldn't get rid of color. Because changing this actually means that our constructor no longer matches animation. I wonder if that's important. But I mean, if we accept a color here, it would be purely for the sake of having the same arguments as the parent, and we would definitely be just ignoring it. I mean, I think it's better this way. I think it's better not to accept it and then just do nothing with it. We might as well just get the list if we're going to have the list. It's been interesting to watch the progress. No pretty 3D printing or laser cutting experience here. Still machine fabricate by hand because it's great stress therapy. Nice. Although I use CAD for most designs. Nice. I've not done much physical fabrication. Got into 3D printing for a bit. Never done laser cutting stuff. And never done much else in the way of fabrication. Never really worked with wood or metal or anything like that much. Where? Be able to run or no? Yeah, okay. Cool. This is actually quite nice that we're able to cut out the vast majority of the code from this by overwriting comment. Just changing this. And theoretically, I guess you could... I mean, back onto the topic of falling back onto simple I/O. I guess one thing you could do is like fall back onto simple I/O if it doesn't have microlab. And then if it doesn't have simple I/O, I mean, theoretically, you could still just fall back on if the user passes the same number of colors as the tail length, then everything will still just work right. Well, if we set comment colors to colors, we just wouldn't need the interp function. Do we want to make it fall back and allow that? Or do we want to just assume... I think for now I'm just going to keep it with the microlab one. Maybe fall back to the simple I/O if it doesn't... I'll have to look and see what all devices have ViewLab. I don't know off the top of my head. One small piece of the much larger project. Okay. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. We did end up not needing this. We did end up not needing this. Is there anything else we can drop out? Anything else looks pretty important, I think. We should probably test like ring and reverse and bounce. I would kind of assume that they're going to work the same as they do normally. Let's make this smaller for now. Step faster also. Oh, no, it does seem like bounce is not working. Unless I misunderstand what bounce is supposed to do, but... Whoa. That might, I think I added that print yesterday. Okay, yeah, it definitely is supposed to bounce back. Not the easiest to see in this light, but it's going around and then bounce. Why does that one not? I guess it's because we didn't pass it through to the parent. In fact, it's because we didn't change our signature here to bring these things through. So we actually need like tail length equals tail length. Bounce equals bounce. Ring equals ring. There we go. Okay, I don't actually know what ring does. I guess ring is like, I would assume ring means just go through to the other side without fully disappearing, which is what it does now. When bounces on false. It waits until it fully disappears from this side before it starts spawning on this side. My guess is with ring, it will not do that. It will just immediately start over here as if this was connected rather than the end and wrapping around. Yeah. It's tough to spot, but if you watch down here, what you can see is that both sides are on at the same time now. What was the other one? Bounce? Oh, we did bounce. Ring. Bounce ring. We have use black. I think we should change the name of this. Reverse. Reverse do. I guess that's probably just goes the other way. Reverse. Oh, camera died. It's too tall for me to see also. Okay. So out of focus now. Okay. That seems good. Just goes the other way. Now we're back to no ring, which means we fully disappear from one end before we spawn on the next end. And then reverse bounce would let us keep going the other way. I mean, I guess bounce already kind of includes reverse. It just, with reverse, it changes which one we do first. But like, realistically, if you just keep this running for a while, then does it really matter which one was first? It's like SOS. What you call it? BP language? Has a better name than that. Morse code. SOS and Morse code. If you know short, 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 long, 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 it doesn't matter which order you do it in. You can just keep repeating them. Doesn't matter which one you started with. Hopefully none of us are ever in a need to be Morse coding SOS. So that's like plan A first and foremost is. So I'll try not to be in that situation. Is there a Neopixel Morse code blinker? Is there a Morse code LED animation? Could there be a Morse code LED animation? There could be, right? I use beep beep language, but only when I hurt myself. Yeah, that's a different beep beep language. Let's see. Okay. So I'm feeling pretty good about this, actually. I think there's, what, a little bit to change this. Colors, this is actually animation colors in a list of... So, I mean, a list of hexes definitely works. A list of tuples might work? I don't know if a list of tuples, or even a tuple of tuples, I guess. Let's go just red to blue, nice and easy. In fact, let's not even, yeah, no, we're not even going to do a gradient this time. We're just going to say red. Pink. No, pink. And then blue. So with our map range, that means that we're going to have like 3 to 4 pixels-ish of each color. Or something, 6-ish, 7. I don't think the number pixels I said is right, but we're not going to have a smooth gradient from color to color. We're going to have a couple of pixels on this color, a couple of pixels on this color, a couple of pixels on this color. But that's fine. Mostly I'm just trying to see if tuples work here. I think they will. Got to be someone who's already done Morse code encoder or decoder in Python. Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, certainly for like actual beeps or vibrations or anything. Neopixel seems nice though. I mean, you could flash. I guess it could be made generic enough to be just a function or something that you could put in whatever you want. I will say the blue is, I did not get the it's not really the colors I expected. Doesn't appear to be very many blue at all. Let's double check what we got here. Oh, right, set color. This does still take color. That's fine. It's going to be a dud. We don't care what gets passed, truthfully. Computed color. Maybe we do. I don't know. I wonder what's happening with computed color. Is anything else using that? That looks pretty much the same to me. It looks like we have almost all red and pink and no blue. I see like one blue pixel, maybe. It's probably too fast and the camera doesn't... Oh, you know what? The light's probably off now as well. If I put the light back on, that did make the colors just a tad easier to see. Although in this case, the blue is still pretty difficult to see. Self.comic colors. Yeah, there's only one blue. Is this rounding down something? Which code library sounds appealing for a Doomsday device? Encoding is super easy. Decoding is something that you pick up from the airwaves is harder. Maybe I'll build one from the LoRa project whenever I get back around. Yeah, Morse code through LoRa. I might actually try the MapRange as well to compare the two to see if we're getting anything different between them. But it feels like it's not evenly mapping. It feels like we're having a rounding error or something where our mapping is overwhelmingly the first two. We're giving it 3 inputs, 3 input colors, and our output we're expecting to try to get an equal range of the 3 inputs with 20 as our tail length in this case. But what we're ending up with is pretty much half the first color, or let's say like 45% the first color, 45% the second color, and then 10% the last color. We're not getting, 33, 33, and 33, which is what we're going for. Not entirely sure why. It does feel like this to me. I think we would probably, maybe we would want to round up or something here, right? Or round to the nearest, I guess. If we rounded to the nearest, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 0. A lot of 1s. All of these for 1s. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 1s. Then another 5 2s, which is still not 33, 33, 33, although it is better than what we're getting. Let's check MapRange also and see if it does the same, if it's getting the same values. I'm assuming it is. These go back to being no longer lists. We also don't need this one here. It just returns the float. Okay, yeah, same stuff. Only one blue. But what is the actual, well, so in our case, we're also having black as the first one. So we're trying to generate how many colors? We're trying to generate tail length colors, 20 colors, but we do also have black. We're going to end up with 21 colors, the first one being black. That one doesn't count, essentially. So ideally, we would have 6, 7, 7. And it doesn't matter which ones are 6 and which ones are 7. That I don't care too much about. But that would be the ideal breakdown, would be 6 of index 0, 6 of index 1. No, 6, 7, 7. 6 of index 0, 7 of index 1, 7 of index 2, or any other permutation thereof. As long as it's 2 7s and a 6. Is there a way that we can round that would get to that for us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7. Not exactly, huh? You get to have a nice time. Thank you. Should we not be using MapRange at all? I know some ham radio gear uses Morse code for status alerts. Oops, sorry. Basically, our small number of inputs, our small input range, I'll be back. I mean, maybe we should just be dividing? I guess MapRange is best for, well, I don't know if best is the right term. MapRange might be better for the opposite scenario where we have more colors than pixels? Because if we didn't use MapRange and instead if we just said take the number of tail length divided by the number of colors, in our case that's 20 over 3, which is whatever it is, 6 point something. Somehow we know to round up on some and down on some to end up with 20. But then we basically just take the first 6 things are the first one, the next 6 things are the next one, the next 6 things are the next one. But that's like in a loop going over the number of colors. But if we do have more colors than tail length, that way gets broken, I think. Did I? It's wrong. So looping over the tail length. Let's see. How's it going? Had 3S. Appreciate the follow there, my friend, over on Twitch. Perhaps Hades? Is it supposed to be Hades? Hades-za? Backwards somehow? I'm actually surprised it's so far off. Not quite understanding why we get such an uneven spread. I was not scrutinizing the colors as much yesterday. We were using bigger ranges yesterday too, though. We're using at least like 10 colors, I think. Here, I don't know where he went. That? Okay. Yeah. So this one, if we were rounding to the nearest, would be better. All of these would round to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pretty good. 10 would be even better, but pick 9. Okay. I guess let's start with round to the nearest. It feels like maybe, though, that MapRange was not actually the solution to this problem that I thought it was. It feels like maybe we don't want to be using that. For some reason, I guess I'm misunderstanding how it works. I was expecting an equal spread of indexes, but it's not. That's not actually working out how I was thinking it did. We will, instead of just converting to int here, we will get the round to the nearest, which is probably math.round. Actually, no. of math round. We have floor. You could take floor and add 0.5. The trick I learned. This does what I think. Just to 0, but if you did that would give you 1. Round is already in a CircuitPython module. Already in a CircuitPython module? Oh, it's not math.round. I see. I see. Okay, so this one is a lot better. I think it's still off by 1. I don't like right now we have 2 colors and we have an even number of pixels, so we should split it right in half, and I think we're probably off by 1 side or the other. One side will have 1 more than the other side, but it's closer than we were. Looks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, but we have 1. We had the actual 0. No. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, we did get split equally. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back to our 3 color. Okay, blue is definitely way more prominent. This is much better than it was. Eyeballing it, I do think that pink is bigger than both red and blue. Yeah, because we got 5, 10, and 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is there a way we can even that out? That one's tougher. I don't know. I don't think we can. I mean, I'm sure we can, but I don't know the way how is really what I should say. Sure, there is a way. But I think I'll stick with this for now. I will put it back to interp. Pretty sure we get the same numbers either way. Yeah. It's like we want to round from 0.25 instead of 0.5 or something. It's like we want to round to the nearest, but we don't want to use 0.5 as the delineation of the nearest, which makes it not the nearest, but that's what it feels like, right? It's like we want to round, but from a shifted basis or something. I wonder why it comes out like that. It does work though, and that is the important part. And it actually still looks kind of like a gradient. And now what I will say is this particular Neopixel strip, for whatever reason, is just really good at blending. I guess it's probably just because it has so many pixels, and because of the diffusion, you can't pick out the individuals. But I mean, what we have here is only 3 colors, only 3 different colors. But it actually does still look fairly smooth. And now I know it doesn't, again, it's hard to see through the camera. It doesn't look great, but to the eye, it still looks nice and neon-y, and it actually does still kind of look like a gradient. It would, of course, look smoother if we would give it an actual gradient of this, but terminal on the right. Here we got a much more even split. So I do think, I guess, generally speaking, if you have more colors, you tend to get a better mix. The 3 colors only was kind of skewing towards the middle. But now we have much smoother gradient, so you probably can't, I don't really see a difference at all in the way it looks through the camera, but to the naked eye, the colors are now smoother between them. Seemingly we have mostly hex. Fine bouncing ring. Haven't been able to see the entire map range, but I suspect it's just doing division. Usually the case when x in and x out are both 0. And x out. I want to offer... No, I'm good, thank you. Possible ban evader. An X in and X out. I don't think I had... I'm not sure what you mean X in and X out, I guess. I had X... So X in, I assume, is my number. And then I have a in minimum and an in maximum. And then we have an out minimum and an out maximum. What I was finding, though, is like... Take, for instance, a in... So we had, let's say, take, for instance, in minimum and maximum are 0 and 19. So 0 is minimum, 19 is maximum. Out minimum is 0, and then out maximum is 2. We have 0, 1, and 2 for our range of out possible values. So we have 20 for the range of the in and 3 for the range of the out. Ideally, we want to get 6, 7, 7 if we ask for 20 numbers spread across that range. But instead, we're getting 5, 10, 5. So our middle one is skewed to be twice as big, twice as many instances as our first and last. But since we introduced the rounding, it's much better than it was. Because it was like 9, 9, and 1 or something. 9, 10. Maybe he had his arm there and I didn't pull in on the octopus. I pulled his arm a little too hard under the... Sorry, buddy. So there's a case where X in and out are both 0. Yeah, there was a case where they were both 0. That's true. In min and out min. Ah, I see. Okay. Min and out min. They are both 0, yeah. They are indeed both 0. If we... Is it literally just the problem of using 0, or is it the fact that they're both the same? If I used 1 for both, or one or the other, and then adjusted it after the fact, would that give us an even range? I used 1 to 20 instead of 0 to 19. Of course, we have the big range now, though. Oh, and I also turned off the prints. Let's make sure this one still looks right. Two of each. That looks good. Let's go back to the version where we only have 3 colors. Ah, still the same. Yeah. Makes sense, I think, because we have the same math. We have all the same math. We're just adding 1 and subtracting 1 in different spots. Put that back for now. Okay, use black. I do want to change, I think, to off pixels. Is this essentially what this is going to do is decide whether or not some of the pixels will get turned off during the animation. If you set that to false, then after it has animated once, it will not have any pixels off. All the pixels will always be on. They'll just change. Sometimes they'll be on one color, sometimes they'll be on a different color, but they'll always be on. I think that name does a bit better job conveying what it does. The way we make it work is by adding black to the list of colors. So that's where the old name came from, but... Buddy, I don't want to play Octopus anymore? Won't pull as hard, I promise. Let's do false, though. There we go. So now we basically have... whole thing is red. And then a blue and pink comet is bouncing back and forth. You know what's interesting, which I did not notice before, is that the comet reverses. Is this true if we... whoops. Up on the wrong side somehow. Is that true if we don't have this? Yeah, I had not noticed it before, but it actually reverses direction. Blue is always in the front of the comet. So like when the comet reverses and comes back the other way, blue comes back out of it as the front. Interesting. I guess makes sense, right? I mean, colors is a list, so... Of course, is actually backwards. Well, I mean, it depends how you think about it, but this list is from the tail to the comet in the order it's in. Blue is actually the color of our comet, pink is the middle of our tail, and red is the end of our tail. Way out here? One's our way out here? Try colors, tail length. Colors over tail length minus, no, colors over tail length times n. Length of colors. Whoa, 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 whoa. That is a parenthesis. So colors over length of tail. Colors times n. And then I guess, yeah, that will still be a float. Still round there. It's out of range. Four zeros. Oh, the mouse died. Really? The mouse died? I just changed the batteries yesterday. 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 7 ones. 6 twos, and then we ended up with a 3 that gave us an off by 1. Does it need n? So this would always be, in our case, 3 colors divided by 20. Calculator. Divided by 20 tail length times n, which is 19.85. Got rounded up. You probably don't want to round up. Probably do want to actually just truncate. Set of map, length colors minus 1. That one looks pretty good. Although are we stuck somewhere? No, it went. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. 6. We got a lot of ones. We're still middle heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ones. So this one we basically traded out 1, 2 for a 0. Instead of 5, 10, 5, we now have 4, 10, 6, 10, 4. I will try without the round, though. Maybe it needs to be, maybe it should be int if we do it this way. This time we ended up with just 0 and 1. Maybe that we would not need the minus 1, though. That one looks pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm fine with that. I don't care which ones are 6 and which ones are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one looks good. That one looks perfect. That's the best one we've gotten so far. What if we do our bigger range, though? Let's make sure that it's not going to cause any trouble with this one, for instance. This one should still give us 2 of each color, hopefully. Let's see, instead of, they make rechargeable nice. And use it while recharging the cord. That'd be interesting, I guess. I don't want to have more USB things to plug in on my desk, though. Ideally, I'm going for less USB things. I don't really mind swapping the batteries out. It's just it takes 2 AAAs. I am perplexed if these ones actually died that fast, though. They do usually last me at least like a week or 2 without much trouble. Not on my computer, I do some tests offline. Yeah, I think you got us there. You got us there in the end. We did, this one still does come out correct as well. So yeah, I think this is probably our best implementation so far. And it's even better because it does not use interpret or MapRange. We actually get rid of that requirement entirely and get a better spread of colors. So much nicer. Been coding more, or at least streaming more. That's true. Well, streaming more, yeah. I think these ones are the energizers also, which I will say have some energizers and some N loop. And the N loop ones I find be a bit better typically. So maybe it's just that these are some of the ones that aren't as good. We'll see too though, because it doesn't feel like it died on me once. Usually what happens is when the batteries are almost about to die, every now and then the mouse will just stop responding. Essentially it will turn itself off. It has an auto off feature, basically an idle feature or something. It'll turn itself off, and then you have to like click a button to get it to wake back up so that you can move it again. Just appreciate it. Helps fill in the gaps. Yeah. Get all those shows back going on eventually. All right, I'm pretty happy with multicolor Comment, I think. Do we really want to create variables for both of these? Is it better if we just put all of this math directly into here? Does it make any difference? I don't know if it makes any difference. I feel like it's more legible this way, so I'll leave it like that. What I'm gonna try to do is make a PR for LED animation to add this one and then play with some of the other ones as well. All right, let's see where we're even at here. Get remote -v. Okay, get checkout, get fetch, data fruit. To make sure we're up to date. Get checkout -b, multicolor, comment, from data fruit main, no track. One of the best wireless mouse I owned I got from Big Lots for literally $4 while I was on vacation. Worked so well, ended up using it as my full-time mouse for years. There's a few things in my life like that as well, where you just like, you pick something up out of necessity one day because you forgot it, your own or whatever, you just get it. You're not necessarily expecting to use it for anything past that day or something to hold you over, and then it just turns out to be like the best one you've used. You just keep it up forever. I got a few things like that as well. Oh, camera just died. Whoops. It's not like a paid project, right? Like I don't have a contract to make this thing specifically. It's not a thing that I'm billing for. This is just a thing I'm working on, so we'll get rid of that. Animation, comment animation. So we'll say, it's multicolor comment. Multicolor comment. I mean, really, basically copied Comet, and in fact, now we're extending Comet anyway, so we're using most of the code in there without having to copy it specifically. We can get rid of that. And theoretically, we could get rid of this and just use black as a 0, but we'll keep it for now, how it's written initially. Multicolor comment animation. Pre-commit, which will code format and run Pylint and hopefully not find anything. Okay, looking good so far. I will add the example also. I think we don't want our example that's going to go in this repo to use like Bezier gradient, or really to use the gradient library at all. Kind of pare a bunch of this stuff back. One thing I will do, though, one of the nice things about the way that this gradient thing works is we can actually just generate a gradient, print it out, and then copy it and hard code it. So like we can still get a gradient and show it off with a nice smooth gradient, but we don't actually have to make it a requirement of the file. We can essentially pre-compute our gradient and then just hard code it into the Python script. What gradient do we want to use, though, is probably the question. Red, yellow, green? Yellow, green seems like a good one as just a base example. So I will actually have to put that back for just a moment. Should we make this bigger too? Should we make it bigger but also still different, just to show the fact that they don't have to match? Same count? Froze on me again. So I mean, I could, like, we could just use these. We could, but I would rather have text ones. Actually gonna cheat slightly and get this. Put it here for just a minute and run it just so we can have this printed better. Okay, so now we generated our gradient and have just hard coded it here so that we get to use it without needing the actual library in this specific code. The light's back off again, right? Because this died. LED animation multicolor comet add paste. I did not put .py. By the way, the 08 in the F string format statement for hex can just be 8. 08 rather than with the curly brackets. This. Bother with these things. All right, I'm out for the day. Thanks for streaming. Have fun. Have things to print and code to mangle. Nice. Take it easy, DJ Devin. Hope you have a nice day. Enjoy the weekend. Let's let that run. Make sure we didn't break anything. I kind of want to print one more time. Actually print. Not change it in the repo and not the change it in the repo. Which means we'll want to go undo that. So we had 16 colors and we had 20 pixels, so, you know, mostly even-ish spread. A couple of them are going to have 2s, but lots of them are going to have 1s. This is what we got. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Seems reasonable enough for me. I mean, it's pretty arbitrary which ones are doubled up and which ones aren't, but seems good enough to me. So we'll run pre-commit again, including our new example. Again, we failed reuse because we don't have thing on top of our example. Yeah. I guess I would assume all of this stuff is still true. Especially considering we didn't end up needing Microlab or Simple IO or anything else. Yeah, I think all of this stuff is still true. One thing will change is it's not a Jade Comet anymore. Now it is a red, yellow, green gradient comet. And it does bounce because we gave it bounce true. But they could also play with ring and reverse. Well, reverse doesn't matter with bounce very much, but do we want the faster one? That save? No, because I am not device. Well, I suppose the real answer is yes, it did save, but it didn't run because it was saved on my computer. That one's quite a bit faster. I mean, I guess it's twice as fast, but it feels very fast comparatively. We will slow it back off to that one. Realistically, I guess we could just look in Comet. Myself up with the half-width windows here. 0.2, same as thing we got. 0.02 rather. How's it going, Dexter? One moment, I got to put up the sun blocker. We are lucky enough to have had the sun poke through, but that means that it's shining off the floor over here. Okay, it was actually pretty cloudy most of the morning. I'm surprised the sun managed to peek through. How's it going, Paul SK? Happy Saturday to all of new folks joining. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Did we pass pre-commit this time? Back in our repo? I think we should now, because we got a actual reuse and all that stuff going on. And then, of course, you know, you would need to change this, and I mean, I guess if you had a strip that was only 30, you might not want a tail length of 20. You might want to like lower some of this stuff down, but this is the one that I happen to be testing on. Does look pretty good on this one, I think, so this is how I'm going to publish it, and well, at least how I'm going to put it in the PR. Obviously, anybody can review, and if somebody wants to change it some other way, we can definitely entertain that idea for sure, but for now, I think I'll do this one. It is passing. I think we're all good, so I'm going to commit. Adding multicolor comet. I always want to use two M's. Multicolor comet animation. Want to go to foamy guy. Color comet. Get ignored? Oh, it's from merging. Yeah, okay, that's not mine. Why did it default to draft? Did I change that? Did I click that accidentally before? I feel like that has never defaulted that way. They changed the default. I must have clicked it before. I must have probably clicked it, right? Does it still show yellow? No, it knows that one was created. Look at some of the other ones as well. Sparkle work. Color. Sparkles 1. Seems like another one maybe that could benefit. I don't know how this one looks. I'm gonna keep these. I'll keep these for now. crash? Is it running? Running. Honestly, it just looks like the whole thing is on faint blue. We need to be passing something else? Num sparkles? Defaults to 1. So our strip is 96, I guess. Is sparkle going to be the number? Do we have only 1 out of 96 pixels is doing anything, maybe? And that's why we're not seeing it very well? I mean, it looks to me like almost everything is just on. I do see a little flickering here and there, though, truthfully. Let's try, like, 45. That is definitely more flickery now. A lot more flickery now. As is that. I guess the speed, maybe the speed is too high. What's the example speed? 0.05. I mean, it's not that much different. I mean, it's, you know, I don't know, I guess it's half, but is it really enough to, like... Oh, I don't know, that still just looks jittery and fast and blinky. I don't know. I'm not seeing, I don't remember what it's... well, I don't even know if I don't remember is probably not the right term for it, but I don't know what it's supposed to look like. Honestly, you know what it seems like, though, is that it's not turning them off. It seems like they're sparkling on to blue, but then staying blue, and then just... you don't see it very much after that, because all of them are already blue. Sparkle animation is all that says. Single color. So there is a rainbow sparkle? I guess we could try rainbow sparkle. That would... different. Okay. It does make it more easy to tell. It makes it more easy to see what it's doing this way. It is still fairly subtle, though, truthfully. It's basically just turning some of them on and off and such. And then this rainbow version is kind of also fluctuating a rainbow all the way around over time. So it would be probably fairly easy to apply this one to a multicolor. I think I want to play with a different one first, though, because I think this one is not what I was thinking. Listening to that. Is this the page that shows what all of them are? It's almost like static. As a 2D effect, I actually like it more. I do actually like it more as a 2D effect like that rather than in just a strip. Kind of see what it's doing. It's going for like TV static, essentially. Okay. What is the one? Isn't like marquee? It's maybe case. Speed, size, spacing, color. Red chase. Speed, size, spacing. Missing required positional arguments. What? Pixels? Yeah. Okay. So this one is basically making a bunch of little lines that flow around. And you control the size of the lines with this. We could make them smaller and more sparse. There is a rainbow chase. Rainbow chase pretty much extends chase, so that's a good sign. Has a bar color, and it does colors here. Step. How many colors to skip? Ah. Interesting. Tell you what, I'll be back in just a moment. I gotta run to the restroom. And I do want to play with this. I'll probably wrap up before too long after we play with this, but I do want to play with this one a bit, so I'm not gonna make it if I don't. BRB. Okay. We can actually make it here. So I am going to pick, actually going to take Rainbow Chase, copy it and call it Multicolor Chase. And I'll do an underscore because there's already an underscore on Comet. Maybe we shouldn't have put the underscore on Comet though, truthfully, because looking at these now, only Grid Rain has an underscore in it. The rest of them actually do not. Personally, I kind of prefer the underscore though in between the words, so I'm actually going to do it with. And if somebody suggests otherwise in the review, we can always change it, but I kind of like it with the space there. It's easier to skim. You don't need this to be like 2/3 of the screen though. Let's chill on that a bit. Rainbow Chase. So we are going to extend Chase. It's going to be multicolor Chase. Color is going to be colors. Size, spacing is going to stay the same. Reverse is going to stay the same. Step we won't have. Actually, I don't know why this one took a color. Didn't take a color. There's no color. Well, I mean, there's color, I guess, because we extend Chase, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. We don't need that. I mean, the most basic version of this is we just go self.colors equals colors, and then everything else just works after that, I think. We don't really get the... We do get red. I think it's good. I don't understand... how it chooses the colors? You start out with very little red, but then we eventually start feeding in more red from this side. Interestingly, they are changing, like... I did not quite... Yes, I maybe did not quite watch the rainbow one close enough. I thought the rainbow one was... Each individual little run, I thought, was keeping its color all the way around, but maybe that's not the case. Yeah, okay. That is not the case. Yeah, if you follow one little run, it does change colors as it moves across. And at any given time, we're not seeing the full rainbow here either. partially to do with the fact that we have such a big space in between, I presume. We cut our spacing down to 3, for instance, we'd have way more like on runs, which means we'd have more colors at once, I think. Maybe not though, because I mean, it still looks like we mostly have about 2 to 3 colors at any given time. Like there's no green represented right now, for instance. We're slowly moving into yellows here, and then I assume green will be coming up after that. Yeah, now we're getting into it. Okay, yeah, that does pretty much behave the same as what ours does, just given the different range of colors. It is interesting that we get the red blinks here. I'll also say it doesn't feel like we have a particularly smooth change between red and green, but let me start that over again. Interesting. So we have, right here, we have red and green next to each other, but in our list, red is at the beginning and green is at the end. You'd think we would see yellow between red and green, but we don't actually. I do like this effect though. I mean, this is kind of pretty much what I imagined, where it's pretty much the same as the rainbow one, just instead of a rainbow, you get to choose your own rainbow, right? You don't use the full rainbow. You could do whichever 2 colors you want, or 3 colors, or 5 colors, or whatever. You kind of just get to pick your colors. Let's try it out with a more limited list as well. Right now we're giving it this whole list of 16 colors, which is kind of a lot. Maybe we'll try just... What if we try just the 3 color version? So red, yellow, green. Oh, that's a nice effect as well, actually. Obviously, this one is without the gradient, but now we have each... if they alternate, we get one red run, then a yellow one, then a green one, then a red one, then a yellow one, then a green one. That's kind of a nice effect as well, actually. I do like that. And this one is not even, this is all sans gradient, but I think this is still pretty sweet. Will this replace the gradients in the fancy LED library? Good question. I would say probably no. But the truth is, I don't have any experience with fancy LED, so I didn't even know there were gradients in there, truthfully. Probably no, though, would be my answer. This will... I mean, for one thing, the other half of my intended use with this is display I/O. So Neopixels are one facet, and LED animation in particular is one facet of what I want to do with this, but certainly display I/O is a whole other half of this that does not speak any LEDs. Is it a library? Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually used Fancy LED directly. Does Circuit Playground use it? Maybe I've used it as part of Circuit Playground. Palettes, maybe? Palettes. Band gradient. Short answer is no. I'm definitely not intending to replace that functionality. And truthfully, this is functionality that I don't believe that our version has. The one that I've made doesn't allow arbitrary percentages of the way through the list or whatever. Like they gave this example here, 0, 30, 83, 100. I don't think you could achieve this exactly the same way. You could probably end up with a similar gradient by creating duplicates of some of these and giving it a list that contains some duplicates. You could probably get an output gradient that's similar, but it won't be the exact same, and you won't be able to do it by just telling it these percentages like this, basically. Truthfully, though, I had no idea this existed. So it might be more appropriate to say this like negates the need for the library that I made. Although I will say we do have different types. This appears to be only one type of gradient. Like you do this expand gradient, and then I presume this is going to turn it into the list of colors for you. We have the linear, the polylinear, and now the Bézier gradient, which is 3 slightly different types. They choose the colors in slightly different ways. As far as I could tell, this would be one of the 3 types rather than, or it's honestly, it's even it's like a 4th type. It's like a more dynamic 4th type that's even different from the 3 we have. Yeah, definitely won't replace it. Looks like slightly different functionality. This one is perhaps more fine-tunable if you want your points along the line to not be equal intervals. But yeah, definitely won't replace it. And then I guess actually the good thing about the way that I'm changing these LED animations, like the way we've made multicolor comet and multicolor chase, it just takes a list of colors, so it could actually work with both. No matter where you get your list of colors, or even like in the case of what I have running right now, which is we don't even have a gradient on it. We just gave it a list of 3 colors. This will actually allow it to work with anything, whether it came from Fancy LED, my gradient helpers, or if it's not even a gradient, if you just want to hard code a couple colors. That is good to know, though. Fancy LED. I should look further into that. I don't know what else is in there. Does it do things beyond just color? I mean, what does it do in there? I don't actually know anything about Fancy LED. So this is kind of an alternative to LED animation, is that right? Load dynamic gradient by gamma video. I don't know though. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have just animations built in. Gamma correction. Oh, okay. This part probably would make ours look nicer if we did include this. Because I was noticing like the middle colors, they were brighter. Felt like. This also offers like color changing functionality that allows control over brightness without using brightness, but instead changing the colors. I don't know though how it displays exactly. It's not quite an alternative to LED animation, it doesn't seem, because it doesn't have the animations built in. There's nothing like, you know, chase or comet or anything. It's providing, it seems like, mostly just a bunch of color helper. Used it for building color palettes. Yeah. What it looks like to me is it's really good for generating all of the colors you need. Which could actually, I mean, back to the same discussion, honestly, that could apply to display IO as well. I wonder if there's anything actually specific to the LEDs in this, or if it's more so almost just like a color assistant, color helper library. Interesting. I'll have to dig more into that one at some point. Pick what we have for code right here. I'm just going to make a separate PR for this one. I don't know, if I make a bunch of them, maybe eventually I'll collapse them to one branch and one PR, but this is the wrong thing to put here. Honestly, this whole thing is wrong. We just don't want any of this. Cancel. Cool. My mouse battery's dying out on me again. I'll have to trade these ones out of my loop here. This one's out of here. Nice in loop ones that seem to last a bit longer. You could copy this from the other one. Everything else stays the same. So we could technically extend Rainbow Chase instead of Chase, and then we could probably get rid of these. Maybe that would mess us up, though, because if we call Super here and it's Rainbow Chase, then it will regenerate the colors of the rainbow inside of that. Maybe this is better to just keep it on extending Chase. Yeah, I think so. We'll just keep these. All right, new branch. Get checkout -b multicolor chase from Adafruit main. No track. Let's see. We passed that time, right? Or okay, we pushed. We'll wrap it up here once I get the PR created. So thank you everybody for hanging out and watching along. I do hope everybody has a good rest of your Saturday and rest of your weekend as well. If anybody does have last-minute questions or comments, now's the time. Drop those in the chat. Where can I see the chats? Oh. Create the pull request from that one. Accidentally got double chases on there. Yep, thanks for hanging out, C. Grover. And everybody, really, who's watching. Oh, this one we didn't. Let me make one more commit here, because I do have... Yep. Thanks, Paul SK. Thanks, Dexter. Take it easy, everybody. Let's get that one pushed, and then we'll create this one. I think this will just update itself. Matters too much. Okay. So, yep, thank you again, everybody. Like I said, I hope everyone has a good day and a good weekend, all of that stuff. I will catch you next time. I don't know exactly when I'll be back for sure. Probably Monday at the latest, but maybe I'll pop back in tomorrow. We'll just have to see. So, take it easy, everyone, and I will see you then whenever it may be.